Okay, it's been overnight. Gonna see what these babies look like. They look good from the top. They're shimmery. Gold centers are going to be a circle on the other side, I know for sure. They look pretty good. Okay, so since these were hand painted, they have to have a coat of resin over them in order to protect them, especially with the ColourArte pigments that will kind of reactivate if they're touched by anything water-based. So definitely going to resin these, and these were all, you know, the pieces that I kind of messed up on, and so I spent a lot of time to hand embellish them. And with another coat of resin, I knew that it's going to go over the sides and drip, and I didn't want any drips on the back side. So I'm showing you how I'm taping them with frog tape, because to me that has kind of the ultimate bond. And I'm just kind of taking it up to the edge of the piece, and I'm really pressing firmly right on that rim, just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Pressing firmly. I'm just really kind of taking the tape to the edge of the coaster just a little bit. You want as much on this thing because I want this side totally covered with tape so there's no drips or fingerprints or anything, because I'm really messy. So it's just better to take precaution on the safe side as opposed to thinking that you'll do a great job and the resin won't get on the back. That's just not possible for me. So I'm better off just taping it. So I wanted to show you, and also I'm laying my painted side down on a silicone mat so it's on a surface where I'm not scratching my paint off while I'm doing all this. Okay, so now it's taped. Everything is firmly pressed around the edge. Then I'm going to take a pair of scissors, which cannot get into all those grooves, but what I'm going to do is just go around and cut up to the tips of all the jagged edges. Right, so that's just to the jagged edges, and then you've got to go into those little grooves, and I found the easiest and quickest way is either with an X-Acto knife or a razor knife. You're going to go in and basically just go around all those edges, and you could do this on a cutting board. I've just got a piece of wood in my studio, so I'm just doing it on a piece of wood. Obviously you don't want to do it on your silicone mat and destroy it. So I'm just going into all those little grooves, and you're going to have all these little pieces of green tape. Little tiny pieces. You see them on my fingertips. You want to make sure and get all of those off of your piece. You don't want any hanging around on the edges. You don't want anything to get sealed into the resin. So you got to be really careful about going around the edges, cleaning up all those little curves. And this only takes a few minutes, so it's definitely worth the time. So now I'm just going to go back and recheck each piece. If I see any edges that need to be cleaned up. Okay, so these are sealed in. So now it's a nice shiny coat on top of the artwork. Now that's green frog tape you see behind. It will be clear. Let me show you. How a clear piece will look. And a little tip. This is not totally hardened up on the top, so it's a little bit easier. Actually, it's coming right off. But whenever your resin has hardened completely, it will be easier to remove if you warm it with the heat gun a little bit. So let me just show you. It just loosens up that tape. I'm so glad I taped the bottom. I really am. So now you can see. Now, the underside may not be so beautiful because, you know, this was the clear resin that I had to pull that white resin out of. So the back is not anything. This is obviously the bottom. And this will be the top. Now these, you know, it's a tinted resin, but it has some shimmer to it. So let me heat this really quick. You can do this on tiles as well, or whatever you're taping to keep the drips from having to get them off the bottom of whatever you're working on. Okay, so this is the underside. It wasn't anything to write home about. You can kind of see the blue pattern through a little bit, but this is not going to be the pretty side. But this is the pretty side. So you can kind of see through it now a little bit. And it's got the nice coat of resin on top, which is heat resistant up to almost 500 degrees. So that's taking 6 coasters that I thought I had really messed up and just making something beautiful out of them by doing some hand painted work on them. And that just goes to show that you don't, with art, you don't ever have to really give up. You can always keep going through and embellish it with something to make it beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next video. I have to say I love these counterculture silicone mats. They are thicker than just the generic silicone mats on Amazon that I've found, and they're thicker than the Lowly Bay mat that I have. It's a lot thinner. This is like, I don't know, it just feels like silk. It feels good. Everything comes off of it so easy. It cleans up really easily. So I'm going to unveil this feather. I don't expect much because I really didn't know how to pour into this. This might be one that would be pretty to do and then embellish it afterwards. I don't know. So I'm not quite sure how to get it out. kind of like slipping a shoe off of see, there's the base. It's like slipping a shoe off of a foot or something. It's weird. And the resin is not 100% set up. So I'm sure that makes a little difference. Maybe it makes it easier. I'm not sure. I don't know if it makes it easier or harder to get out. It's bending though. Well, that's kind of cool. There's no gold showing. I didn't expect it to because it laid on the top. And with the ColourArte pigment, I don't think I used the right one. I'm pretty sure they have one for resin, and this was probably too pigmented, but it's still pretty. I could almost see having some gold accents on this. I may have to still play with this a little bit and pretty it up a bit. And so yes, see, the coasters turned out really kind of dark and very saturated with color. Very. So, you know, kind of plain on this side. I had drug in with a stick, but that didn't do anything with the pattern at all. It's still kind of cool though. I use those little glitter gems. Those were from on the UK resin website. I got some of those glitter flakes or whatever. So these are very deep colored. I might could embellish these even and then put another thin coat on top. I don't know. What do you think? Somebody might like them the way they are. Let me flip my mold back so you can see what it looks like. So yeah, there's the base, and then it sits, and then you pour the resin in. Like I said, I just wasn't sure how to really, I kind of pushed my stick in to the crevices and tried to, you know, disperse it a little bit. But like I said, I think I may work on this a little bit and then recoat it with resin so that it's permanent, washable, all that good stuff. You know, if somebody wanted to use it in their bathroom or, you know, wherever. But I love the vivid colors anyway, even so, with not really having used the ColourArte with resin and not using probably the right product for the resin. I think they do have a resin pigment that's made specifically for resin and not just their regular primary elements. So you see a little bit more of the green and blues when you get it up close, depending on how the light hits it. So there they are. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.